Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dashcast. I am Curtis Dash, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host Brandon Colongo. Brandon, say hello.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys. So this is going to be a very interesting show, but before we get to it, I just want to say thank you for watching. Please like, comment on the topics that you guys want to hear, and if you guys want to come on the show and debate any of our points, if you want to come and tell me that Aaron Rodgers isn't one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, please feel free to do so. But leave a comment. Say you want to be a guest. Say you want to come in and talk smack to Brandon. Just enjoy. We've got a bunch of topics we want to talk to you guys about, and we want to get you guys involved too. We want you to have as much fun with this as we're having. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this with something I think Brandon's really gonna be thrilled about. It's all NBA Heat. It's all talking about Game One of the Finals. That's tonight at 9 p.m. But before we really get into that, we're gonna go ahead and talk about Game Six between the Celtics and the Heat because we never really got around to that, and I think it's important that Brandon be able to run his mouth to everybody because he's right. He didn't pick against them, and he's right. Brandon, what you got about the Heat?
Let's go Heat! Woo! Oh man, I was banging my chest going nuts the other night, and Bam played great. I've never seen such clutch performances from such a young team. We have really outplayed Boston in every fourth quarter, and this last fourth quarter was no different. We absolutely took the mantle away. We're ready to really perform. And I love that the Heat play so well in fourth quarters because the team that we're going to be going up against has a guy who I don't believe plays very well in fourth quarters. But that is a topic for another day. So yeah, I was so proud to watch that Heat team play the way they did. Eric Spoelstra, man, what a great job he's done of coaching this team.
Wholeheartedly agree.
There's a couple flaws from the team, but I think it's more in terms of the dynamic and the way that the team is built. And I actually don't think they're going to be that big of an issue, but we'll get into that in a second when we talk about the matchup coming up. But great conference finals win, and I've never felt more confident in this team moving forward.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy about this conference finals win, and we were talking about maybe this is the Heat's best chances, with Brooklyn and Durant being out, and
Mm-hmm.
talking about a lot of the other teams in the West and the East and how that kind of worked out, and maybe the bubble gave the Heat the best chance to have this resurgence and their amazing fourth quarters. I mean, 37 points in the fourth quarter compared to the Celtics' 27 points. I mean, almost a 40-point fourth quarter when they had tied the third quarter, and this was a close game. I mean, the Heat won by 12, and they had to do it all in the fourth quarter, which is crunch time. That's when you want to do it. Only two guys on the Heat, only two out of like 8 or 9, I believe 9, had only two didn't have double figures. One of them played 5 minutes, and Jay Crowder was the other one who had 30 minutes, but he didn't really shoot all that well. He did have 6 rebounds, however. I mean,
Duncan Robinson played out of his mind.
like, look at this stat line. You got 22 points from Butler, 32 points from Adebayo, 15 points from Robinson, 13 points from the Dragon, 19 points from Hero, and 15 points from Iggy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that crazy? That's just ridiculous. Those guys went off. Now, speaking of the Miami Heat, I have to ask, now, what is the one thing you really need? You think the Heat really needs? What is that one key to victory against King James and his Lakers tonight?
Well, yeah, the key that the Heat need. I'll go ahead and I'll talk about what the key that the Lakers need too.
Sure.
Actually,
Yeah.
so the big key for the Heat is they need to hit the open threes. Jimmy Butler and Iggy are going to get a couple open threes. They need to make them. So, I have no concern about Duncan Robinson obviously hitting his threes. Tyler Hero, I'm sure, will be hitting. The Heat need to shoot well from the outside because that has always been LeBron's kryptonite. If he plays against a team that hits a lot of threes and shoots efficiently from the three-point line, LeBron struggles in those games. Also, we need to have a strong fourth quarter. We need to continue to play the fourth quarters that we've been playing. And if we do that, I like our chances of winning. One big advantage that the Lakers have, rebounding. The Heat are not a great rebounding team. They're a great three-point shooting team, but not a great rebounding team. So if the Lakers dominate on the boards, who knows what's going to happen? And depending on how many more rebounds the Lakers get than the Heat, with second chance opportunities and things like that, the Heat could have an uphill battle in terms of beating the Lakers. So if the Lakers come out aggressive and rebound, all bets are off. But sometimes the Lakers come out a little slow in game ones, and if the Heat can get a cheap win early, I like their chances Heat in 6.
Yeah, you were kind of talking about that. Actually brings me 2 points that I want to bring up. The first point is we were kind of talking about how the for game six, how the 3 point shooting is obviously it's a huge thing, but going in, Adebayo was really the big guy.
Hmm.
With the 32 points. Now he'll be going against a pretty stacked in terms of, I guess, rotation for centers and big men, and the
Hmm.
Lakers, who, like you said, do normally come out flat in game ones. The Heat are obviously underdogs for some strange reason. The Lakers are only favored by 4.5 tonight, however, at the moment. The over under for that game is like 217, which is whatever. Who cares?
Oh,
But
according to all the quote unquote experts, the Heat are hopeless underdogs. I mean, I'm hearing disrespect all over, all over. I'm hearing 4 games from Skip Bayless. I'm hearing
uh,
5 games from Chris Broussard, 6 games from Shannon Sharp, all for the Lakers. I don't think there's a single person that's bet on the Heat yet, aside from me.
yeah,
And I'm waiting on your prediction right now.
I don't think there's any way this series. Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I don't think there's any way this series goes like just 4 games. I almost guarantee the Lakers come out and fall flat in game one just because they've fallen flat. And I think every game one in every series they haven't won. Now, granted, they've won each one in 5, so it's worked out for them. But there's a really good chance for the Heat to come out and steal this game. They need to steal this game, but they need to be able to steal the game too. Now, as for my prediction, man, that's tough because every bone in my body says Lakers, but there's just something about this Heat team. I think Heat in 6 or 7 is probably fair, but if you made me put actual money on it, uh, I think I would have to go Lakers in 6. Um, I don't like any of those predictions. I don't feel comfortable with any of them, man, because I really want the Heat to go all the way. I want Jimmy Buckets to do well. And all this talk about LeBron facing his old team in the Heat is just meaningless. And even he said the same thing. I didn't
Is
know
it?
what you kind of thought about that.
No, this is what the fans wanted. You do you know how bad I've wanted to crack it at LeBron with the Heat?
Really?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because once I saw him with the Heat, and I thought, man, this is the guy. This is the guy that everyone says is the guy. I'm like, give me a couple. I don't know how I foresaw this happening, and I certainly didn't know before the season that this was going to be what transpired. Not to mention, in my house growing up, I had two Laker fans.
Ooh.
So, I mean, this is the pinnacle of TV. I mean, think about it too. We've got Florida, Cali, Miami, LA.
Yeah, West
This
Coast, East
is
Coast, yeah.
the greatest thing, in my opinion, for TV. This is a great matchup. Pat Riley, if you think there is any love lost between Pat Riley and LeBron, you are sadly mistaken. Pat Riley, and I bet Eric Spoelstra too. Don't forget, we got Udonis Haslam on the bench.
Oh,
Lots of
sure.
these guys, they want to take a shot at LeBron. And let me throw a little stat out here since you like stats.
I do.
Jimmy Butler and Andre Iguodala are two of the best defenders against LeBron in the
100%
history
agree.
of defenders that have gone against LeBron.
I mean, when it comes to that team and the Heat, I think the Heat have the defensive pieces to contend. I just think down low, if Adebayo gets in like foul trouble, Anthony Davis could just tear this team in half. That's what I'm afraid of. You think I'm being too hard or
Yeah,
too?
because we don't put in Leitner that often, but he's a big guy. We have big guys. We have Myers Leonard on the bench. We have plenty of big guys. We don't play them that often because we end up going with small ball, and that's been working really well for us. And also, like I said, the three-pointer I feel like is key to beating the Lakers. But we've got guys we can throw in there. Leitner is a great three-point shooter. We've got, like I said, Myers Leonard who can bang down low. I think that if Adebayo gets in foul trouble, obviously it's not going to help the team. There's a reason why he plays more minutes than everybody else.
Sure.
But I think we've got enough to kind of hold off a storm for a short period of time while we can, obviously you wait till the next half for Adebayo to come back in, or depending on when the foul trouble happens or whatever it is, if we got to close out a game without him, I'm sure we can do so in a short stretch of time.
So is Adebayo, you think, more important for this team, or is it obviously you said the 3 point shooters are going to be big, or do you think Jimmy buckets? Because he's going to end up having to lock down LBJ at some point, in my opinion, especially in crunch
No,
time.
Are you talking about the most important player for the Heat, or just
Yeah,
the
yeah,
series?
just for the Heat and the series.
Yeah, for the Heat, I'm going to go with Jimmy Butler is the most important for the Heat, just because he's our leader, um, and he really sets the tone for that team. I also think that Jimmy Butler's been dying to get another shot at LeBron because LeBron used to give him a very hard time on those Bulls teams back in the day.
Oh yeah.
So as far as the Heat go, yeah, we need. Also, he's our best player, but he's also probably like in the top 30 best players in the league. He's not anywhere in the top 10 or top 15, I don't think. So past there, when your best player is probably top 30 in the league, you really need your best player to play good. Basketball's a game for superstars. So, as far as the Heat go, we need our all-star to just really, really come home and do a good job on LeBron.
All right, so we'll go ahead and try to wrap this up. But before we do, we got to ask with every single game. Game 1, 9 p.m. tonight. Lakers by 4.5, allegedly, according to Vegas. Who do you have winning Game 1 tonight, Brandon?
I got Miami. If we're going to win the series in 6 like I predict, we need to win 1 and 2.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah, I think winning this game is a big key. The Lakers have consistently fallen flat in Game 1. The Heat have played exceptionally well. They've only lost, 3 games this postseason total or something like that. They're great. They're amazing. Heat are going to take my Game 1 for me. But we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you, guys.
Before we do real quick, I want to say, for the Lakers to win, there are 2 big pieces. LeBron has to come up big in the fourth quarter, but short of Anthony Davis, the rest of the team needs to hit shots. When LeBron's role players don't hit shots, LeBron chokes. AD and LeBron, they're going to do what they do, I'm sure. If their role players are off and not hitting those catch and shoot shots, I like our chances.
Yeah, well, I guess that's a very interesting point because the Lakers, I think they're just going to be really dependent on how everybody else around LeBron plays. LeBron needs to play well, but AD is going to need to show up too. His role players are very, very important for this game. For the entire series, not just this game.
Right.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, Game 1 tonight, 9 p.m. Brandon's taking the Heat. I'm taking the Heat. They fall flat in Game 1, as the Lakers do. I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. Any closing thoughts on this before we get out of here?
No, man. Thanks for watching, everyone. Subscribe, like, comment. Come on the show and debate us.
Yeah, please come see us, and we'll see you guys next clip.